Okay, we are in the final session of this training, and last session we did some good integration of a lot of concepts. Moreover, the variable concept was integrated in the visualization, so we could fix with 3 pages project a hotel solution for example, for the reception. Because when we have this visualization, this is intended not for an end customer, but for the receptionist or a general manager of the hotel. In this case, you may remember, and I will show you back this information from the web manager, that we have been also dealing about integration for the end user using a hotel solution called the GRMS. We created our own GRMS solution, so we defined our rooms, and the system automatically created a lot of visualization clients. So we have just room definitions here in this app. It was just creating without items, because the items were created automatically by the systems. This item is intended if you get, for example, information from Fidelio or from your own specific PMS or whatever, so you can also link to the items. But if the items are not present, if it's your own solution, you can also create the rooms without any item and then link to a visualization project. This is the example for now. The visualization project was already created. It was named Hotel Room, and I will now deal about how to handle this situation with a specific small visualization for a specific room, how to do only one visualization, and how to get visualizations for the 500 or 2000 rooms in the hotel at the same time. So for this, the system is creating us, after our room creations. For this, the system is creating 2 things. One is different kind of users. So we have different users. For every single room, we have 1 user, okay, for every single room. And also the system is creating in our visualization. So we have some trouble with the port. I have been changing the ports and I get a visualization issue. My hotel room is created, okay, so I can also refresh. And also I have the project assignment user by user. So this is also, everything is created automatically by the system. So every single user has 1 single visualization assigned to it. So the user with the QR code will access using the NETx Vision app to the visualization. At the end, there is a configuration for this, and this is interesting from the point of view of the variables. I will show you. It's interesting that the project is hotel room, for example, with the home page, whatever. So you can, in this case, we will have only one page. And we have some specific workspace variables, and these variables are taking the information from the GRMS. One is the language, another is the guest name, another is the room name. So variables are workspace variables. These are different ones than the previous kind of variables for the visualization we have seen. We have seen page variables, group variables. We have seen also object variables and item value variables or whatever. But workspace variable is interesting in this case for me, because we will have different values depending on the room number. One, in fact, is the number of the room. So it's only this variable needed for this indication and change of the items, etc. So we have this. I will do some small change here. I will assign this to the admin user, all this visualization, because I need to show you in the web. So this is a thing that is normally not done, because the user is not admin the user for all this, but I will just save this for the first 4. Okay, and then the last 4. also the same. This is just one small trick to show you this in the visualization. So let's do something with this example. Okay. Name of the configuration device. The user now is the admin. The visualization project is hotel room, so we have to open this, and the home page is also room. It's okay. So what to do? Okay, I should take advantage of my work. So I have all these things done, and I just will have to change something about variables. So I will take advantage of my work, and I can do it exporting this page. I can export this page if it's okay for me. I can export this page. I have done previously. So have this BPG visualization page. Okay, this is the extension of that. So I have this, and I will just open that new visualization project that is called Hotel Room. Hotel Room is a project that is almost nothing on it, but it's a few special things that we have to consider. Okay. Well, this is useless. I will take advantage of all this, also this work, but this is the only thing I have here is only one page and some labels, nothing. But there is some interesting things to comment. That is, in this project, we have defined the workspace variables. This is the only workspace I will need in this case, a part of the group variables, but the workspace variable for the language, the guest name, and the room name. Important, very important, the room name, because with the room name, we can also change the visualization related to that. So then I will import that page that I have already exported before. I'm sorry, not new. I have to import the page. That's fantastic. I have this page. Okay. So I do not change it. So I get a second example of page. It's a bit different, the size of the page, but it's okay. So room, this is the room that I want to do the changes. What are the changes that I need to do? Okay, I have to hide, for example, I will work only with lights now. I need to change this value, for example, this text, because now there is a different. I don't need to use the page variable for this. I have my workspace variable for this. So the room name is just the room name. It's a variable that I only have to change this. This is the room name. And it will be room whatever. Okay, first point. Second point, about that controls we had, for example, here. It happens the same. This is just the room name. The rest of the things can remain, but this is a different thing. It's a workspace variable that will include the room name. So this is the only thing I have to change here, and do this for all these elements to change these variables that was useful for our first approach with the main visualization for the receptionist. But now for this specific page with only, or this specific project with only one page for the end customer, I need to fit to match with the strategy of the room management system, so the GRMS, or my smart suite, as is the commercial name for this. So I just need one workspace in order to get the right configuration of the items for my room, specific room. So the rest of the things can remain. So the group variable is okay. We can still use it, no problem. So let's, for example, this And this is already finished. Yes. I have to do nothing with this because this is just switching on that group, so it's okay. It's not a problem. Now I will work with shutter because I need to change the same here. So instead of using the page variables that now are not present here, I just have to change that text to the value of the workspace room name. So that values are pre-charged in the GRMS system, so the GRMS app, so they will work with the visualization as we saw before for the other things. So the not disturb and makeup room is the same because it's taking the strategy or the item strategy is well thought, so it's well decided. So we only have to change this every part of this. But the question is that I last 10 minutes, but it's if I have 2,000 rooms, it's it's for the 2,000 rooms, so it's not problem at all because it's only a few minutes of work. So this is almost finished, and the only thing to do is to it was not changed in the other project. Oh, sorry, I forget to put here the variable, so this was not working for other rooms, but it's okay. That's not necessary to change anything here, and here maybe yes, because it's also related to the room name. The only thing to change, and if you fail, it's not a problem because it will be checked only once. So there is only one way to fail, only one page to change. So that's okay. And I will take from the other page, for example, this was labeled with the temperature, so I will take it and paste it, label with the temperature. Okay, I will put it here. So that was already created before, that should work. Okay, and I had another one with I think it was with the Fahrenheit temperature. So I create another label here. So let's check it. It's not it's just an example. So I will show you another one more professional now, more complete. That's it. That's the room number, backslash, and that Fahrenheit temperature, for example. And the last thing is to take this, the name of the guest. So we can also maybe put it here. Well, Mr. or Mrs. Whatever. No, I'm not presuming if it's men or not. So that's it. Let me finally do the legend of this page. Okay, I have to change the definition for the home page because if not, I cannot delete it. This is the home page now. Okay, and then I can delete this page, and then I can rename this for the room page. That's it. So it's finished. Let's check if we can show this working. But the question is to have the possibility to see all this independently of the number of the rooms. Only one definition for this. That's the way. So saving this, and to in order to get this information, I cannot just start because I have not. Well, yes, I can predefine. Okay, yes, because I am admin. So this is working. So just to show you that it's working, if I select this room, is Bernard. If I again start and I select number 0104, I think it's mine. Yes, it is. Something is not working with this. Maybe it's not correct, but the rest of the things are okay. And if I show you the camera, let me select the right one. If it's not, oh, that's okay. Let me turn off all the lights first. I should create an alias for this to show you that if this is the room 0104, if I choose this light, it's working. And this will be the visualization that the customer has at his room. If I imagine that I am another customer, another guest, the number 2, for example, that is Stefan. If Stefan wants to control his ceiling, this is his room. So he has no access to any other rooms. It's not controlling the room of your guest. It's totally independent. So this is working perfect with the workspace variables. So that's the example I wanted also to show you. So that's fantastic. It's working perfectly. And the only thing you need is a QR code to access to this visualization. But this is example is not for today. I will create a video explaining this, for example. Of course, if you have different kind of rooms, you can have a different template for the rooms. Of course, you have to work not once, maybe twice or 3 times or 4 times if you have different suites. But the question is for you to understand that if one type of room is 100 times, you will save 100 times that work because you only have to do it once. It's just a question of organize your work. So it's typical in a hotel to have one wing with a kind of rooms, a different wing with suites, or floor with suites, and it's different. Of course, the layout and the number of circuits are different. But in resume, you have to think very well first how your project is and adapt your project, your BMS to that reality. So think first in the number of circuits per room, create the more complex room, in my opinion, within the ETS, and do copies of that project, deleting circuits. So it's the best thing I can, the best advice, the best tip I can give you. So that's the fact. Yes, and about that question exactly from Oleg is that the question. Variable to change and change to different visualization. Yes, you have a different workspace for a different kind of suits, so it could be a different layout. It's the same. So you have a specific workspace in the other visualization design, and then you will access to your specific project. So it's not a problem. Just to change that value. About the automatic switch of the variables, it depends on your item structure. It's the same. If the workspace is only considering the room number, it will be. I mean, the configuration behind, you will choose a different project instead of in the. The question is that instead of the hotel room project, you will need to select a different one, so it will be automatically linked to that. Is that way. But to have another vector, another dimension of variable, it depends on, maybe it's possible, but it will be workspace variable the one to consider for this. So it should be considered that workspace variables are the one to consider for that, because it's changing per every single user. It will change the workspace. So that's it. So it was an example to show you. And now what I'm going to do is to open a different workspace and open different projects in visualization. So I will show you. And I will show you here and in the iPad, because I have one software that can help showing you the visualization. How to configure that in a smartphone or in a smart tablet, like an iPad, for example. So I will show you how this is working. Let me again turn off the camera because it's not necessary now. Okay, so I will open a new workspace. And I will open also a new visualization. Workspace to open is this hotel demo. It's a complete. I will open in simulation mode because it's not related to my practical boards. It's just a question to show you the aspect of the visualization. Okay. And then after it starts in simulation mode, we can see the layout of this visualization. There is one visualization for receptionists with the whole access to the whole rooms. There is one visualization for example, for the web manager. Visualization for one kind of rooms, for a different kind of rooms, only for the cleaning responsibles or for the technical staff. So it's very interesting to see this example. I will open this and check in my visualization management if I have exactly that projects. This is from the previous session, so I will delete it. This is my different kind of visualization. I have housekeeping, reception, technical, and specific for the customers, for one kind of rooms, another kind of room. So this is the project. I have made the deployment or just received the deployment in recent dates, and I have also created only one device per visualization with unlimited number of, well, in this case, unlimited number of visualizations. Why not? The limit is in your license, so it's not necessary to put here a limit. So we can check if it's working or not. How to test it? Okay, we can test it. Again, I had some troubles with the ports. Let me check which ports we have here. I will change this. It's restarting the service because I was doing some changes before, and this is protesting. So let's see. Needs some time. Sometimes it needs some time to fix. Maybe it's the cache also of the web manager that we can also. How to clean the cache? Let me. I am cleaning the cache, so maybe solve it. No, it's a question of the port, for sure. It's a pity. Now it's working. It's working fine. Okay, so let's take a look on this visualization so you will enjoy, for example, this project, reception project. I have to go to the devices, okay, to see this. I can force this visualization pressing that button, as you may remember. It's just the local host and housekeeping, the name of the, you only need the IP of the server and the name of the device and login, all using the superadmin. For sure you can access to this visualization. So this is one example of visualization. This is the housekeeping, for example. Well, it's opening. Housekeeping is in the format of the smartphone for the housekeeper. And if you go to a specific floor and a specific room, you can see the status of the room, for example. You can go to the floor. This is a typical visualization for just changing the status of cleaning, for example, or whatever. Or you can see the status on clean and vacant and clean occupied, whatever. So it's very interesting for this kind of use. But if I show you reception, it's more complex. This is a fantastic example to see how things can be done in a real project. In this case, takes a bit more time to open, but so you have, this is the hotel. So you have one wing, horoscope. You can open one floor with some rooms. So this is the layout of the floor. So if you come to one room specific, you have a lot of information about the room. So for example, you can change the lights. You can change things related to the climate. Okay. Summer mode, winter mode. You can change the set point of the temperature, or you can change the speed, whatever. This is intended for the receptionist, okay? So it can be, normally these things are done automatically depending on the check-in, check-out status, but this is a lot of information for this. Tablet, even tablet issues, if there is an issue, no issue, whatever. Other things about the room controller, water sensor, trendings that you can also open, set point summer, whatever. So all these trendings are per room. So you need to create only one because you have templates that can be also used for all these rooms and so on. So this is also interesting in this, from this point of view. If you go to wings layout, so if we go to, for example, the other wing, we can go to this room, for example, and this is a different layout of the room. So there are two different kind of rooms depending on the wing. So this is the most interesting thing. Again, you have this information, for example, and this is for the receptionist. So for the maintainer, for the owner of the hotel, the general manager, all this information is per room, thanks to this visualization, web visualization. So housekeeping, reception. If you are a customer, you will have a visualization like this. So you will see only in the tablet or your own tablet or in the touch panel in the wall, you will get this information. You can change your lights, change your climate, specify if you want to be not disturbed or you want to make up room. Others about summer, winter mode, for example, night lights guidance, so detectors, or even you can write a message that is registered in the BMS in an item with a string format, so you can register that. Okay. And for example, weather from Bucharest in this example, and then you can also have the forecast here about 3, 6, 9, 12 hours. You remember we had all this information, so it's just a graphical thing. It takes time to do as it is, but it's fantastic. So to have this kind of visualization for the room guest. In this case, this is the first wing, and we have another one example for the other wing customers. Maybe it's more luxury rooms. And the customer can access with the GRMS, can access to this visualization in his own tablet, for example, or the smartphone, only with a QR code. So that's the best thing about this GRMS. So from the reception, it gives you, like for the Wi-Fi, a QR code, so you have availability to control your room. And when you have a checkout in your room, you will lose the access to that. So that's the way. So this is a different room with more lights or less lights. Doesn't mind. It's the same idea. Okay. And finally, technical, for example. So you have another visualization specific for technical stuff with different information per room as the housekeeping. So last thing to show you is how to see this in the smartphone or in your tablet. Okay, so let's, for example, this is park, 2 rooms, special rooms here, and this is the status that you get being the technical stuff. So in this case, so you can go to any floor of the hotel and you have access very fast to any of the rooms to see what is happening or whatever. You also have an overview of the floor, so if you see something strange, you can get here some alarms. As you can see here, room incidents or whatever is a different color. If it's green, it's perfect. So if you have some incident, you will see here very easy. So it's really nice way to have a project in visualization. And the process is, we have all these projects in our editor. So in our editor, I have, for example, my reception project. So I have to do all the work here with all my templates or using the variables or whatever. So if I do any change, for example, I will change a logo. Imagine that I want to put a logo in this example. So you see that the process to load a specific change, we can do it very easy. So it's just add a logo and that's it. So some seconds for giving time to load that. It is lasting a bit more than desired, but it's interesting to show you this. So now this is the main page. So if I want just to put a new logo here in the main page, just put an image here. Current layer is disabled. Okay, in edition mode. Which is the current layer. This is background. Okay, we'll put here an icon, NETx automation icon. I will find it here. Images. And the NETx logo is here. So that's it. NETx automation logo, for example, just to show you how it works. I will disable again this layer, so I cannot touch it. And then to load this change, you have just to save. Well, we can save and send to the server in the same process. It's saving. And transfer the workspace to the server because I've done some changes. And then in the web manager, I just have to come back to my web manager, go to the projects part, take the reception project that has been recently 5 seconds ago received, but we need to deploy it again, because deploy is when you need some to compile to say somehow the project for the web manager, for the web browser. We have to deploy it. So now it's updated with the time of deployment, so we can see the reception. Yeah, I have to log in again because of the change. And when it starts, you will see the NETx logo. Taking a bit of time because it's a big visualization, but that's it with the NETx automation logo. So we have seen how to change that. Next is to show you in my tablet. I have my tablet at my hands, so I will show you. I will connect. Okay. Give me 1 second. And I will show you. There is a software that transfer wireless the video of that's it. So here it is, but in the other screen. So let me show you in your screen. This is my tablet, okay? So you can see exactly what I have in my hands. It's my iPad. It's now lasting some seconds to show, okay? So I have NETx Vision, as you can see here. NETx Vision, with my finger, I will press it. It lasts some seconds, but at the end I will manage, I hope. So you see, this is what I have in my hands. So I press with my finger this pop-up and it's working fine. And if I move to the right, this visualization, I open a menu with different profiles. So my my tablet is able to show me different, for example, visualizations. If I define different profiles, if I have the possibility to do this, I can access to different visualization in the same device. In fact, I have reception also. I will show you how to create one profile. And I will show you what are the profiles configuration. But the best thing is that you can also connect to other computers, to other VMS servers. So now it will take some seconds. But for example, I can show you how can I see my house visualization that is not in this computer, is in a different one. So this is the same as you. This is my iPad. I repeat, this is my iPad. It's not the web visualization, but it looks exactly the same. So if I show you, for example, the second floor in the horoscope, I am pressing with my finger. So yes, I have touched it. Yes, so it's exactly the same. So it's what you see is this. So it's fantastic. So you can change whatever from this. But the question is to explain, okay, what are the profiles? No? What is a profile? Manage profiles. So when you start with the NETx VMS app, sorry, with the NETx Vision app, you need to create profiles. I have some created, so I will show you. Reception, for example, is a profile where you have just to put the host. The host is the IP of the BMS where the projects are loaded, where the server, where the BMS platform is installed. The port, if you want to use HTTPS, so TLS, the port is the one that you have in your computer. So I will show you, this is what I have done before, is to change this port. So 443 is the port for my BMS, so I have to put 443. If I change it, I have to change it here also, because if not, it will not be able to connect. There is a timeout and login timeout or whatever. If you have a backup server, you have to, I will move it with my finger, you have to configure the backup server, and you have a user and a password that is not shown here. And here is when you also can select different available devices. If you press the magnifier icon, you can select what you want from your different devices that are configured in your project. So because if I show you again Web Manager, you remember my Web Manager, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different devices. Devices. 5 devices here. So this is exactly what you see when you have this to choose. So this is the configuration of that. You have to put here the admin and password. So the user and password here, your admin and change me. For example, if you are the user or you have an employee that has his name and his password, he will only be able to select the projects that are, or the devices that are related to his permissions or her permissions. So it's automatically linked to your permissions. So that's smart, we can say. This is a profile. So if I want to see which profiles I have, reception, room A, room B. So if I want to create a new one, I just press in the top right corner the add, and I can say, okay, I have reception, but I don't have housekeeping profile. So the way to do this is to write, I am doing in the iPad, the IP address. Okay, TLS, for example. There's no backup, but I need to put the username. So it's my iPad because I can do with my finger, and I can select here from the profiles the housekeeping. And if I save, I have now my housekeeping profile also to choose. How to choose one or the other? I can choose here. So I have housekeeping. So my project is changing. It's not designed for an iPad. It's designed for a smartphone, but it's okay. It's the same. It's lasting a bit the first time it loads because it has a lot of graphical elements, but it's okay. If I put in vertical, it's the same. It's not shown. I can see it better in vertical. Yeah, it's shown. No, it's not shown. I lost the connection, no problem. There it is. So I have these possibilities to change from one to other. I repeat, if you want a new profile, for example, for technical, just add, and you put here the name of what you want, technical, for example. For techniques, the name is not important. The IP. Of the server, the port, the right port that is configured already, the username, let me use again faster the password, select with the amplifier, with the magnifier, and technical. And I have all in my tablet, I have all these profiles to select. Techniques, for example, is different one. So I have all the visualization in the same tablet. This is possible if you know all the requirements from the profile definition. That's it. And also, I repeat, you can also create profiles with another computers. I have my home BMS, and I will show you my home visualization just for you. It's not finished, let me say. I am on it, but I need time to finish the visualization. Now we will install the photovoltaic, so we will finish now the project. The house is almost new, so I am on it. But this is technical. So technical stuff. The icon is different, so you get different information, and it's everything. It's in the iPad. Okay. So I will show you my home definition. So this is a different definition. As you can see, I have main and backup server, and I can configure both here. So if my main server fails, the visualization will also work. I only have one device in my server, only home, only one visualization. And if I want to show you my home visualization, I just have to select the profile. And then is when we will see the different views that we have access to. For example, there are something that you can, for example, this is HVAC. This one example is not important. It could be, of course, much better done in 3D. We will see the 3D library. Maybe in the future I will do it in 3D, but it's okay. Just showing you information. If you go to the init page, it is in the left, top left, Inicio is init page. You press and you go to this page, because this page is in the main view, the view 1, as you can see. But you can also have several views at the same time. For example, I have a camera. So this is the camera, and this camera is in a different window. So I can also have the other vision and change to this at the same way using this option. Okay. And I can also, for example, have this, the main board information. So my complete main board with a lot of information. I can also control manually the plugs in some cases. So I can control the plugs manually. I'm touching that, or the bathroom plugs or whatever. So this is automated. I also information for every single protection about the hours, the cycles, the triggers that they have used. I have many information here, but this is in the main visualization. If you want to see the lights, there's a special page for lights. It's not well. It was not well deployed. I'm sorry. No. What happened with my lights? Now, yes. Now, yes. So in my office, for example, is this. So I have pop-ups for the lights. And I can change that with a pop-up, as you can see. It is taking some seconds to show you the result, but I can turn on a light and get the status of that. It's about 5 seconds delay. Okay, you see now the result. The light is on. The spot lights are indicating that the lights on, and I turn it off, and it will be. It's a pop-up window. So as you have seen before, and this is in the second view. So I have different views, whatever. It's also very interesting, this thing, because I haven't mentioned, but I will show you something now when the screen changes. I could not tell you anything, but it will be interesting for you to see this thing about the weather information. This is an icon, a fixed icon, but if I have this information from the internet, in fact, I can also influence in the rotation of this icon. So this icon, if with 0 degrees, the wind is coming from the north, so the icon is an arrow focused to the south. But if the rotation of the icon can be influenced by an item, that is possible because it's a property that can be dynamically changed, we can represent the direction of the wind. So I can do this. I will show you where I do this with a property of this object specifically. So this is fantastic because you can also dynamically change the properties, change the size, change the rotation, change the transparency, whatever the position, whatever thing, you can also interact with this element. So the visualization really is fantastic. It's incredible tool for your project. You just need patience and a lot of time at the beginning to learn how to do it. Okay, it's enough to see my awful visualization of my home. Sorry, but the question was to show you how this works in an iPad. That is what I wanted to show you. This is so. At the end, we have a lot of things to explain, as I show you. As I told you, but for example, this thing I mentioned before, one element, for example, that you want to, whatever element. So if you remember, there was item properties, object properties, sorry, object properties. There was a window about an object that I have told about. If you remember, I normally touch the tooltip. This is the thing that I used to change. But if you take a look on the tabs that we have available, we have runtime logic tab. So we can change or interact with the visibility of the object using whatever value or whatever variable items. So it depends on an item, the visibility or not of the object. It depends, the text that you are showing, it's also be possible to change the graphical also. So in this case, if it's just an image, but if it's a different element like a button, for example, let me do this much bigger. The angle is also possible to change, to interact. So I did this with that icon with an arrow that is pointing to the south, and the angle is changing that angle. So it's indicating the wind direction, for example. So this is also possible, but you can interact with the line color, with the back visible or not, background is visible or not, the background color, the text color, the text using items in the runtime dynamically. This is a fixed values, but you can also change the values dynamically. So this is fantastic because you can also do a lot of things in the visualization that you normally cannot do. So, and about visualization, I think it's enough. It's a lot of things that I have explained, but there is only one left thing to explain, and I will open about the HVAC library. Some of you are interested in the HVAC library also. It's a special and independent tool, independent library. So if you are interested on this that I'm going to explain, just contact my colleagues and they will mention how to get this. So HVAC, where is my HVAC? This one. Okay. I have shown you some time ago about this HVAC 3D library. So let me again show you this, and at the end I want to deal about the office building example, just as a review of concepts, because we have no time to do this example for an office building, but the concept is clear now, I think. So it will be interesting to just to comment. Okay, I think I select open. Yeah, I click OK. Thank you. And this is a demo project for the new HVAC library. The HVAC 3D library is a special one, so it's not included, but you have a lot of different elements, as you can see. Coils, for example, but this is not just static images, it's also dynamic images. So it's possible to have fans running, different colors depending on the temperature. All these things are possible, editable. So you have also include variables on these blocks. It's a NETx automation element, so you can change the appearance, you can change the pictures depending on that. The object has a value, an item ID you can also include. So this is a multi-picture, for example, but also can be included with variables. So that's fantastic. So this is, for example, for coils, for air systems, you have also dampers. That's also great to have dampers for that, different kind of dampers, for example, or ductworks for the ducts, different corners or pieces of ducts. So this is for air systems. Square ducts also typical, and terminal elements, diffuser or whatever. It's really fantastic. You have also fans, a lot of kind of fans, dynamically also moving. These animated GIFs that give you the impression of movement, and all these things are also included in this. So for HVAC project is fantastic. The best thing is that you only have to pay this library once, because the library is not for the project, it's for you as integrator. So the price is only one time paid. And you have it permission to use it for any project. So that's a good thing, because you only pay this once. If you are using a lot of HVAC screens, you need to create a lot of HVAC screens, you will think about. It's interesting, but you have to ask my colleagues about the price of this and how to get this. So a lot of sensors also. So there is a lot of hundreds, I think, of elements that you can, air compressors, data racks. There is a lot of things. So even electrical units also. So many interesting elements that you can include in your projects. About water, not only air, but also for water, different colors for the 2D dimension pipe systems or 3-dimension pipe systems, boilers, chillers, cooling towers, heat exchangers, so everything that is normally in this kind of projects. So valves, tanks, whatever. So tank fillable, so you can also see this in the example. So this is the library, and this is a demo that I can also start and show you how this works. So there is not so many pages in the demo, but it's enough to explain. So there is a main page, so we can show other pages. For example, page 1. This is one example. This is a fantastic example also to see this the pumps, for example, working. So you can see movement on these elements. For example, or UV filter. So you can see these filters is in the third element here, or heat cover, for example, also. So the UV systems are here. You see that is active or not, and the heat or cooling also indicating the level of that with the fans running on all these things. So, and about these other elements, it's possible to simulate the filter at a specific level. So you see it's color changing, or the dampers, for example, also opening or closing the dampers, different positions, or the heater cooler also. So it's dynamically changing that values, and also, of course, you can put any kind of label with indicating temperatures or whatever, but this is fantastic. And the page is in 3D. I mentioned when I created the first page, but I will also show you the properties of this page. And you see that it is a 3D HVAC page. So it's also interesting from that point of view. So let me show you a second page, for example, and that's okay. Another page, for example. So let the pump hot, pump cold. The pumps are these elements that you may not see or distinguish. These elements, pumps hot, and the pump cold is the other one. So pump cold. The cooler system, or this is a boiler, or the tanks. Even the tanks, you can see how the tanks are filled, more or less filled with this kind of element. So this is the first tank, now it's in 50%, and we can also simulate it, the other two tanks. So with a bit more, and that's it. These kind of things are also included. The third page, I think, is showing you how complex systems you can create. So it's an example done by our the owner of NETx Automation. So it takes a lot of time, Mr. Furtak. Thank you for this example. It's fantastic. It's an unreal situation, but maybe you have a huge installation. So imagine what you can do with this. Okay, an overview of components. This is an overview of all the things you can include in the HVAC systems with pipings or tubes or distinct different kind of machines and so on. So that's an example of, I think it's nothing in these pages. No, it was created by me to explain something about in other trainings, but the HVAC library is for this. So I think it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting to understand this kind of HVAC library, the things that you can do with this HVAC library. And don't forget that you also have another library, but this is not the same, but you have another library with this kind of elements. So it's included in the BMS. This is included with these elements in 3D. So this is not a dynamic element, but you can use it. I've used it in some cases. So some elements, no description for this, so you have to know what is it. It's if it's something related to air conditioning or with cooling or heating, but it's a 3D, so you can use it also. So don't forget that you have a lot of libraries. You can also create your own library. So when you have a project, you can also play with the libraries as I did. So remember that these elements can be also stored in the library. So you can create your own libraries and you can reuse your own elements for any kind of project. So it's like a favorites storage. And the last thing to explain you is only 5 minutes. It's about the shutter control systems. I will open just a picture of the building in Madrid that I mentioned some days ago. But I would like to explain you what happened in this kind of project and why we succeed with NETx Automation. This is very important for you because we are not sometimes fighting against giants. I mean, big manufacturers, software manufacturers worldwide, but NETx Automation has, in our opinion, the best solution for this kind of building automation project. So, and the success is becoming bigger and bigger every year. So there is a reason for that. We have tried to show you that reason with examples. So now is your turn to do real projects with this. But one of our and this is an example very interesting for us, is this project. So I will try to explain the situation of this project. This is a building, a real building that has NETx Automation solution inside. Okay, this is the situation now. It was not beginning that software inside. during 8 or 10 years, it was another manufacturer I will not mention, big manufacturer in KNX with a specific software, but it was not working, we can say. This is, the words are from the owner of the building, the previous owner, and the maintenance responsible. It was not working because the problem is that every single 30 of the 34 floors, 34 floors, 11, 12, and 11, so 34 floors in this building, and there are two different meets. So this is the north face and the south face is identical. So there are 68 semi-floors, we can say, in this building, and in every single semi-floor we have 34, it's the same number, 34 shutters. So 34 shutters, 34 times, 2 times. In total, 2,312 shutters, and this is an office building, lighting systems with I think three or four, don't remember, DALI gateways inside this. Okay, so the problem was that there was no, it was not working. And the solution for this building was to use NETx automation. Not only the software, but also changing the idea of the topology, because in the past they were using normal TP couplers for each of these parts. So there were only a few areas, but a lot of TP couplers, and only 4 IP gateways, IP routers. So that was not working because of this bottleneck. I mentioned this in the very first session, I think, in the very first session, about what happens with the bottlenecks and the bandwidth when you have a TP situation. So they have 4 areas, TP areas, but the IP, the area couplers were IP. So they had a lot of problems in that. So the first decision, I convinced the integrator also, and I convinced the end customer, the owner of the building, to change this to 68 IP routers. This was critical. And it was very easy to convince them because they wanted to solve the situation. The only thing, the only devices that were changed was that. So the shutter actuators and the DALI gateways that has now 12 years old are still there working, because the problem was not with KNX. The problem was with the focus of the project, with the layout of the topology. After changing that and after installing NETx automation, everything started to work perfect. And it's not my words, it's the end customer words. It is working now as it has to work. Why? Because our NETx automation BMS platform is connecting to the 68 IP routers using the tunneling connection simultaneously. So there is no single telegram in the backbone, because it's not necessary. The BMS is doing the work. And the second thing, and this is very interesting, is for the integrator. Every single semi-floor has 9 shutter actuators, 4 channel, and 4 DALI gateways. Exactly the same 68 times. So from the ETS point of view, we only did one single project, and we replicated exactly the same project 68 times. Because the IP of every IP router is different, we can remain the group addresses. And this is exactly the same situation we had during the training. During the training, I will open again my BMS. We respect exactly the same group addresses per room. So the work from the ETS point of view in this building was also simple, very simple. It was just one single small project that takes me 2 hours to do. I'm not lying. It was 2 hours work, just 10 shutter actuators and 4 DALI gateways with a very well-known group address structure. identifying the shutters per number with the number of the group address, identifying the circuits, etc. 68 times. So from the visualization point of view, the control of one shutter, and you can now understand why, is a question of one widget and 2 pages. One page to select the semifloor and one page of the semifloor to select the shutter. One widget with 2 variables, page variable, group variable. You know, understand what I mean, because I have explained this for the hotel project. So from the integrator point of view, he gets a lot of money for doing a few things in this project. The only thing was reprogram the whole building because the owner wanted to do it well. It was reprogrammed totally in some about 40 or 50 nights during the night, and the building started to work. And the last ingredient of this successful project is the shutter control system. It is not enough only to use the BMS platform, in this case, to control the 2,312 shutters, because every shutter has to be considered independently, and depending on the position of the sun has to be controlled. So I will show you not this example, I will show you another video that is interesting, in my opinion, also for you. Okay, let me try to find it because I had it in a different folder. I will show you a video for 1 or 2 projects in I think yes. Okay, I have it in, no problem, in downloads, shutter control. Okay, I will show you a video, well, some images, it's also possible, some images from one specific project that is in Vienna. So, well, some examples of shutter control systems we can show. This is one building also in Austria, very complex because the position of the sun is also complicated to control, because imagine that you cannot use only a KNX shutter controller because the shape of the building is complex. So there is some shadow here when the sun is giving here sun lighting, the other corner lasts 4 hours to get the sun. So it's very complex. So this kind of project has to be studied, georeference all these shutters one by one, and then the shutter control system is controlling perfectly every single of these shutters. So it has to be a 3D modeling of the building and georeference all the shutters one by one, and so on. So this is one example. Okay, this is one example of how the work is done for this kind of projects. It's not simple, and it has to be studied per project. But the question in this case for this project, so looked at the sun. For example, is now here at 9 in the morning, but in this, the same shade lasts 4 hours, for example, to be never here. So it's interesting to have this 3D modeling and this simulation previously. This is another example, very, very complex also, but also done with a shutter control system. Some images of this. So really, really sophisticated solution with this. The question is that with this solution, you can make your end customer to save, let's say, 45% of the energy consumption in heating or in cooling in summer. This is a lot of money. So maybe the shutter control system can cost some thousands of euros, several maybe, but it will be saved in months maybe. So it's important to have this global vision for your projects. You can use NETx automation for any kind of complex or big project. Doesn't mind the complexity, doesn't mind the size. You will have your colleagues from NETx automation to help you in this kind of projects, because we can face any challenge now with these solutions. Okay. Other project that was also very interesting to comment in, it's also in Vienna. This project, the shutter control system was considered from the very beginning of the project. So the size of the machines, the cooling dimension, the dimension of the cooling systems was also considered in this. They save a lot of money, tens of thousands euros or even hundreds of thousands euros in devices, in machines, so in coolings, in coolers, in all these things. In fact, if you stop the BMS server, the system is not enough to cool the systems. So they have saved a lot of money because they are considering the BMS platform to do this work. So it's very, very interesting. And a part of these images, I can show you also some videos. I think I have some videos to show. Yeah. Sorry. Yes. So you see the shadows, how the sun is every day of the year. So this is, the calculation is per minute. So we have thousands of minutes in 1 year. So every day of the year, the position of the sun. So every minute is calculated this. So another video for the same project. Andrich is a laboratory, I think. And also we have some in the Erste campus, I think also. Yeah. So there is, look how complex are the shadows on this kind of projects. So it's also very interesting, this kind of simulations before we apply this. So it's very, very important to have this possibility. So NETx is not just for a small hotel with 50 rooms. You can face any kind of project, any kind of challenge with this. And that's it. That's it. This is what I wanted to tell you in this training. I will say you goodbye now. Let me open the camera. So thank you very much for all your effort to be there, and I hope you have enjoyed these webinars, and I hope it can be useful for your future projects. In the name of NETx Automation, I appreciate a lot. We appreciate a lot your time to be here with us. And as we mentioned, we will share these videos and all these examples. My example, not all, but my example, I will be shared with you. I will send to my colleagues in NETx Automation, so you will get it also with the videos, maybe with a link to download. So nothing more to say. Thank you very much, and hope to see you soon. Bye.
Also from my side, thank you very much for the participation in our web trainings. I hope you have gained a closer insight in our solution. Also, Julio, a big thank you on behalf of NETx Automation for your great work. If you have questions, feel free to contact us, to contact my colleagues and me. We are at your disposal, of course. And I wish you a nice day, and I hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you very much. See you soon.